Hello, avocado fans. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining me today. I wanted to show you the progress in my 2023 and update you on the varieties I have. If you saw my watering videos, you could see I was struggling with some trees in the back, which I call the avocado factory. And I'm going to show you what came as a result of that, because avocados are tricky. With bananas, like this one here, and mangoes, if you get the right variety, you just add water. Avocados, on the other hand, not so much. They can have 1 or 2 bad days and they can just die. And to my surprise, I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm still learning and I'm still being humbled by avocados. So the story is I had some citrus drawers back here and I moved them elsewhere. And I started growing avocados because if you see here, I can let them grow tall here and have an alley in the back so I can let them go tall as well as wide. Of course, with some pruning. But I've tried different trees here. And I want to say, of the Guatemalan types, Nabal, Reed, and Queen seem to be and seem to enjoy heat. They can handle the high heat. Now, I went ahead and made some changes, and I have what here I call the NorCal collection. Because, I like learning, just like here we have Father's Day. I like learning from the elders, right? Paying respect to the elders. And what I found is this is the NorCal collection. If you drive around old neighborhoods in Northern California, Sacramento, Napa, Concord, Modesto, Fresno, you will see these old trees. And they're right in front of you. And I chose them because they do well. Whether it's cold or high heat, these trees will still perform for you. Where the Guatemalan varieties, it's kind of newer to Northern California, where we do have a long history of growing avocados. The oldest avocado tree on record is at UC Berkeley, and it's from the late 1800s. I haven't seen that one, but I have seen old avocado trees at Stanford, which are probably 100 years old, if not close. And these are the types of trees you'll see, the more Mexican ones. The first beautiful one you see right in front of you is a Zutano. And here in Northern California, the Zutano can hang all the way into the summer, where it pretty much tastes like a bacon when it is allowed to develop the oil. The problem is if you get a Zutano in the store, it's going to be picked early, where it's going to be mostly watery, and that's because it's still beautiful. Zutano skin is very fragile and delicate, and it starts to bruise, and it's hard to sell bruised fruit. So again, this is a situation where you got to grow your own. If you want to taste a good Zutano, you got to grow your own or find someone who has one and let them hang, and then you'll be able to enjoy it for what it is. It is a very unique flavor, and it tastes more like Florida or West Indian types in that it tends to be mostly a big buttery avocado. And I enjoy them, and I enjoy the fact that it's unique because I like variety. But the most important thing, and the reason I'm growing this variety, is because it is an incredible rootstock. I've been grafting for a number of years now, and recently my grafts have been taking, to my surprise. Because it's the rate's very high now. I was pretty decent at grafting, but all of a sudden it's like almost everything I try, if I get the timing right, it'll usually take. And that's because I'm grafting onto Zutano seeds. So that's why I wanted to get a Zutano tree. It's a unique flavor, one. It's also a great rootstock, excellent rootstock. Two. And the third reason is it's a wonderful pollinizer. And that brings us to the next one. Another wonderful pollinizer, it's this one. This is the Fuerte avocado. And this is one of maybe my favorite avocado. It's definitely the original California classic. And the interesting thing about this one is from Atzlitzko, Mexico, and it was brought up in 1911 by Schmidt. He also brought another avocado in 1911, and that's this one. Look at this. I got a surprise for you, my friends. Can you guess what that is with the curvy leaves? It is a Puebla. I managed to get a hold of a Puebla avocado. Thank you, Evan, for grafting this and propagating it and making it available. And this is also, again, another one. If you drive around old neighborhoods in Northern California, you will sometimes be lucky enough to run into a Puebla avocado and try the fruit. I think this one got me started on my journey, essentially, when I had one grown in a winery in Napa. It was amazing. It tasted excellent. And I couldn't believe that they don't sell these in the stores. So I started getting into avocados and growing avocados. Speaking of another excellent avocado, let's go over here. See, it's getting warm. You can see peach season will be here soon. This one, speaking of Napa, a winemaker in Napa, this was his favorite, and he was from Guatemala. He said, this is the best avocado there is. And sure enough, what is it? It's a Mexicola. Yes. For some people, Mexicola is the best avocado there is. I really enjoy this one. The only issue with Mexicola is that they mostly all come at once. So it's essentially a sharing avocado. You're going to get a whole bunch of avocados and you're going to share them. Your friends and coworkers are going to love you for it. So why not get a Mexicola if it's right for you, if you like that flavor. I love the flavor. And also the excellent thing about the Mexicola, which I enjoy, you can take the leaves, boil them, and I only recommend this with Mexicola, and you can make a tea, and it's an excellent tea. So there you go. You got a tree that you share, a tree with a nice smelling licorice leaves, and one you can make tea from. And again, it might be your favorite. So as you can see here in my yard, the Mexican ones get more sun and they get more wind and cold. Where when we're going this way, you're going to see they are more protected. Again, we're talking about sun protection. Here's a ball, and it's bouncing back. I had trimmed it away. I was going to do some double grafts on it. And it's sitting here in the sun. It's bouncing right back wonderfully. This is a very sturdy tree. I wish I had room for it. I had to make some changes. I went with reed instead because I know it's a heavy producer, and that's kind of one of my rules and pet peeves is I don't really want to grow a tree that doesn't produce a lot. I mean, everyone's free to do what works for them. With me and all the work I put into it, I kind of want I do want the high producers, and that's fine. We all got to know what we want in life. And if you look down here, the ball is here mostly because it's helping protect from my dogs. This one here, and this is the La Morinda avocado tree. If you haven't heard of it, you will. This tree is, the fruit looks like Hass, the tree looks like Hass. When I eat it, I think of Fuerte, and or perhaps at least a light Fuerte. It's an interesting tree because it tastes Mexican, but it obviously has Hass genes too. And who knows? One day I'll be able to try them side by side with a Fuerte, and I'll be able to explain what that is like. But La Morinda is a heavy producer in Northern California, and it is grown in a cold place from a seedling that was probably about 50 years old, and then all of a sudden it just started producing heavily. Over here we have the reed, and I had a big beautiful reed further in the back. Unfortunately, at the rate it was growing, it wanted to go straight into the sky and might affect my roof. Here it's got more room. I only have to worry about it in one direction. But you know what? It'll be fine. I'm used to trimming avocados away these days. And look over here. Wanted to update you on my Pinkerton. I trimmed it, but look at it, it's just taking off. This one has hit the 10-year mark. And look at it just reaching for the sky. I think it grew 5 feet in just this 1 year. In the back is the lamb, which also, look at that. It was to the fence. You could see where the central leader is, and I trimmed it, or I pruned it, or I cut it off because it was leaning sideways. So I took off the central leader because it was leaning all the way to the Pinkerton, loaded with fruit, which happens. And then look what happened. The lamb is just shooting 6 feet into the sky. So both these trees hit the 10-year mark, and I just wanted to share, this is what happens when your trees are well established. Eventually you could trim them and they'll just reach into the sky like nothing happened. And my other latest edition, final edition, is this one here. And this is the Carmen. And I want to say, I was going to put a gem here because it's a tight space. But then the thing in Northern California is Carmen's ready in spring and gem isn't ready until summer. So I wanted a spring avocado. Of course, I'm going to have to prune this one a lot. So I went ahead and I went with a Carmen. And the main reason really is because this one was only 6 inches tall at the beginning of the year when it was grafted. And now look at it. It's already like 24 inches tall in just 6 months. So this is a case of a really good Zutano rootstock that is probably superior to any colonal rootstocks. And that's another thing I'm learning about rootstocks is they're not all going to be the same. Some of your Zutanos are going to be rockets. They're just going to take off and just shoot out into the sky. The same, a seed from the same tree might not. So the other thing you want to do with grafting is you want to learn which ones to graft and which ones to throw out. So, for example, here's another good seedling rootstock here. And this one is going to be perfect. Look at it. It's just reaching into the sky. That one is a bacon, by the way. So that's another one worth trying. But Zutano is the international standard. In New Zealand, they use Zutano all throughout California. So why reinvent the wheel? If it works, then go with it. And that's what I've done. I'm growing a Zutano because I want to be able to graft and share these with you and anyone else who's interested in growing avocados. I also have a Puebla, which I understand they use in Kenya to graft avocados. And I understand they used to use that here. So my recommendation for today is learn to graft, because the best part of learning to graft is not only can you share these trees, but say you grow something like this lamb avocado, and you decide, you know what, this is not really what I want. I want something else here. I want a gem here, for example. Well, then you can cut the tree and you can let a shoot come out and you can graft on it. Or if you want to have a lot of fun, you can take a tree and you can graft another variety on it. And some people do that as well. It's your garden. It's up to you. You can decide. And if you like variety and you have a small yard, as I obviously do, then that's the way to go, is either grafting 2 to 1 tree, or if you don't like a variety and you want to switch, then you just go ahead and you add yourself. You let the tree grow and then you graft onto that. Unfortunately for me, when I figured out to graft, I'd already removed some trees because I had different trees here that were labeled, mislabeled that is. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. I also want to add that this one here, because I recommend buying small trees in small pots. And Johnny from Johnny's World told me he likes big trees because although you have to stake them, when they do work out and kick in, you get fruit a lot sooner. This Mexicola here is a big tree I picked up because I returned the other one the other Mexicola that declined and I cut the branches away. And you know, on full disclosure, that didn't work out. I don't know what happened with that tree, but it was already unhealthy when I picked it up at the store. So another thing I recommend is be a little stingy, be a little greedy, be a little critical when you pick your trees. Try to choose one. Try to choose a tree that looks very healthy and very strong. Sometimes you don't have a choice and you got to take what they got. That Pinkerton, for example, when I got that one, it didn't look that great. It was missing some, the central leader had dried up from the straps around it. But look at it now. So, you know, with proper care, you can get lucky, but to save yourself a lot of frustration, I would probably just try to choose a tree that looks beautiful and looks strong when you buy it. Because avocados, it seems to be a lifetime of learning. So, oh, the other thing I wanted to say about the Mexicola was the nice thing about it is it only takes about 6 to 8 months, less than a year, for it to produce fruit. Here they're usually ready by August, September. And that's wonderful because it's been a strange year. And the weather, I'm sure where you are too, has been odd. And it looks like a lot of my trees, my big trees, I don't see fruit on them. And I think it's because they were confused because every day it seemed to be a different season. One day it would be very cold, 1 week, and then next week it would be very hot, and then it'll be cold again. And now it's June and it feels like spring. And I think the trees, they drop the flowers. Now the beautiful thing about the Mexicola is next year, next spring, this is probably going to flower, and that summer and fall, I'm going to get fruit. So I might not have Pinkertons or lambs, but I probably will have this one. And what's exciting to me about this is on my father's side, they trace their ancestry to the Mexica, also known as the Aztecs, and they had 3 words for avocados. And I'm convinced that one of them is the bumpy skin, oily Guatemalan types. 2, the big green skin types that tend to be more buttery, or we call them here the Mexican types or the West Indian types. They tend to be more buttery. And the 3rd, I think, is this one. I think it's the black skin avocados that in Mexico now they call criollo, where you can eat the skin too. And that's a very interesting thing to try. And again, if you like Mexicola, or if it's interesting to you, you should grow one because you're never going to see these in the stores. Okay, thank you for watching and spending some time with me. Hopefully you are learning from my videos as I'm learning from your videos and your comments. And if nothing else, watching avocado videos seems to be a great way to relax. Thank you. Have a good day.